Hey guys, we're going to review A Dream Within a Dream. Now, if I say something different than you thought, that doesn't mean you're wrong as long as you can defend it with text. So, first, we always start with reading it. So, I will read it and hopefully you will remember it. Take this kiss upon the brow, and in parting from you now, thus much let me avow. You are not wrong who deem that my days have been a dream. Yet if hope has flown away in a night or in a day, in a vision or in none, is it therefore the less gone? All that we see or seem is but a dream within a dream. I stand amid the roar of a surf-tormented shore, and I hold within my hand grains of golden sand. How few, yet how they creep through my fingers to the deep, while I weep, while I weep. O God, can I not grasp them with a tighter clasp? O God, can I not save one from the pitiless wave? Is all that we see or seem but a dream within a dream? So you hear the rhythm, hopefully, and you see the rhymes as well. But let's talk about reading the poem, close reading. So I got to recognize the story, and the story is someone's died, and he's sad about it. And someone has said, don't be sad because life is a dream. It comes and goes, and it's just whatever. So that's the big idea of the story. Now let's look inside of the story. Notice in green in my evaluation is text. Everything I say is based on text. A lot of you looked at this, and it was a good idea to look at this, but you can't, just because he had death in his life, you can't say that this is about his particular death, or his family's death, unless he used their name. Probably influenced him, and it could give you some ideas, but you can't say he's lamenting his wife's death, because nowhere in this poem does it say his wife's name. But so when I start the beginning of the poem, I'm looking at things that I don't understand. And so, in parting shows up, and in parting means leaving someone. It could be physically leaving, or in the 1800s, some used the phrase to say someone was dead. So you could make both arguments. I think the death argument is better once you bring in the rest of the poem. So I do think it is about death. Another word that I had trouble with was vow. And so a vow means to assess or to confess openly. But I want to really make sure I understand the word because the meaning could be important. So I look it up. A vow, it's a verb. It says a vow. Assert or confess openly. He avowed that he had voted Republican in every election. So when you say that, you're like, no hiding. That means I am looking it up. And I like to know more about words, so I'm going to look at where it came from. So it came from Latin and evolved into Old French, and then French and English came together and blended into this new word, avow. So Middle English means the time of Shakespeare, so this word's from around that period. And you can see, you guys are so lucky that you have this instead of a dictionary. You can see how popular it was in the time of Edgar Allan Poe. We know he was in the 1800s, and you can just see how we used to say it a ton, and now we say it less, so it's less popular. I was interested to see if a vowel had older meanings. So sometimes dictionary.com will give you, this is the best, Oxford dictionaries, but some of you would find it too tedious. So I'll look at this one and see if they have old it. Declare frankly or openly, own, acknowledge, confess, admit. Related. Examples for a vow. Okay, so I think I have the meaning that I need. I go back and I look. Take this kiss upon the brow, and in parting from you now, thus much let me avow. So he's saying something. We see this dash, and that dash can also mean, sometimes it means you're changing ideas, and sometimes it means this is what I'm going to say, kind of like a colon. So thus much let me avow, you are not wrong who deem that my days have been a dream. So he's saying openly that people who say that life's a dream, they're not wrong. They're right. Now we had the question for you in lines 2 and 4. So you in line 2 is referring to the person being kissed on the brow. Look at my argument. Text. You can't prove me wrong because I have text. In line 4, you are the people who judge life a dream, and we just talked about that one. It says you are not wrong who deem. So the people who are saying that life's a dream. When I look at lines 6 through 9, it follows a semicolon and ends with a question mark. The narrator argues that even if life is a dream, is it less gone than if it were real? We feel our dreams, right? When you're in the middle of a dream, it's very powerful and you feel it. And so this argument that it is less gone is the argument that even if it is a dream, it's all I know. So 6 through 9. Yet if hope is flown away in a night or in a day, in a vision or in none, is it therefore the less gone? And these two words probably sounded more like one another back then, so the rhyme would have been tighter. So what if it's a dream? Still feel it, still real. Line 10 and 11 has the poem's title, and then the word all is in italics. So 10 and 11 is all that that's not an accident. That word all is italics. That we see, all that we see or seem is but a dream within a dream. So his point is, doesn't matter. So life's a dream, then what we're experiencing is a dream, so it's all the same. Lines 12 through 15 are read independently because they start a new idea and end with a dash. Dashes mean the writer shifted to a new related idea. The beach he stands on is a metaphor for life. We know life is difficult because it's a surf-tormented shore, but then in the next line it says it's also beautiful because it's called golden sand. Hopefully, when you're reading, you're looking at sentences because sentences have more meaning. Lines 16 through 18 talk about the sand in his hand. How few, he screams out. How few. Imagine the little bit of sand in her hand compared to the rest of the beach. There's 7 billion people in the world. How many do you know? How many are actually close friends? While I weep is repeated. So we have this repetition. So he's screaming, or she is screaming. We don't know the sex of the speaker. Screaming, how few. And they won't stay in my hand. I can't hold them. And as they leave, I weep. We probably wouldn't weep over sand, so you can make the argument this is for people. Lines 19 and 22 are multiple sentences with one idea. It's a prayer or even a cry to God that one person be saved from the pitiless wave. And that's the idea that everyone dies and death takes no pity on people. Happy people, sad people, rich people, poor people, everyone dies, and there's nothing you can do about it. And then lines 23 and 24 are the same as a strong closing sentence. It leaves the reader thinking and sums up the idea of the poem. Is all of existence one person's dream inside the dream of life itself? So again, we've got the italicized word all. So that's my reading of this poem. It doesn't mean your reading was wrong, but you've got to evaluate each sentence and think deeply of what's being spoken to or for or about. Awesome. Awesome, possum.